This is gonna sound a little funny, but it's day 5, 6, and 7 of growing $200 to $1,000. So on Friday when the market closes at 4 p.m., nothing really happened. There was no movement. I'll show you what my terminal looked like here. So no movement on Friday on day 5. Saturday markets are closed, and Sunday the market was closed until 4 p.m. and after 4, this is what the terminal still looked like. And so take note, you can see that the Dow, it was up a good amount of profit, and as soon as market opened on Sunday, price on the US 30/Dow just dropped and took out both of my positions, which is okay because we had planned for that. So you can see on the Dow or US 30, these were my 2 positions. You can see on the terminal before that I showed you. This one got stopped out at $25 loss. This one got stopped out at roughly break even because of this huge gap. You see it just fell as soon as market opened, which was right here, and just dropped there. So the next position that I added was EJ. I'll show you here. So you can see what I did is on Euro JPY, I basically added a second position, and this is what the terminal looked like after I added the second position. So on EJ, you can see here, this was the first position right here. This one ended up getting stopped out at break even, so basically we can just that. This is the trade that is still open. This is what it looked like. So this is support, or this is resistance to me, and this is the trade that it's still currently in. Right now it's at a loss of like 10 bucks. This one I might end up closing early, like halfway to the stop loss, just to save some money. So I think it'll be like a $10 loss roughly. So yesterday, which is day 6, I also placed a buy on GBP USD. This is what it looked like the moment I entered it, and this is the terminal of my open trades that you can see. GBP USD ended up going further into profit, so I ended up adding into it. So I'll show you here. This is what the terminal looked like when I added the second position of GBP USD, adding into profit. I moved the first position stop loss to break even. The second position that I just showed you that I just added is the one, it's basically like the same entry just with a shittier price. So for Euro JPY, one of the positions ended up stopping out at break even, which I'll show you here. At the time, one of them was still open, and here's the screenshot of the history. You can see that the price of where it got stopped out at is 0. It's black, it's empty, so it's got stopped out at $0, so I lost nothing. And that was the trade that I was showing you earlier that I might close at like a loss of $10. Right now, it's currently sitting at about that price. It has broken my resistance zone. It's continuing to go up, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and close it. You can see here for GBP USD, I ended up adding a third position to that one, so I'll show you what it looks like. So you can see here, GBP USD, this is why I bought. So price broke, it bounced like here, came down, bounced again, it kept bouncing and bouncing, touching this zone. This is the support zone. It just kept going up and down, and it came down here and touched the support zone, so I bought. So I entered this first position. You can see there's 3 long position tools to show that I bought 3 times. This first one was the first position. Stop loss was right below the zone. It went into profit. So what I did is I added a second position. The first position, I just moved the stop loss to break even. So if it does come back to this zone, I lose nothing. The second position, the stop loss is set below the zone, so that in case if it does go down, the first position stops out at break even. The second position is still open, but that didn't happen. I found no resistance. I was in no drawdown. And then I added the third position as it kept going into profit. The 2 positions, I moved the stops to break even. The third position, I moved the stop loss below the zone. So I'm just making these winners really big. And this GBP USD trade ended up working out really, really well. So the next trade I ended up entering was USD CAD. I think I just added another position to this trade, and I'll show you what it looked like. So the USD CAD trade, this is what it looked like when I added the third position. So what exactly did it look like USD CAD? So this was my resistance zone on the daily time frame. So I sold here with this first long position tool. I sold, it went into profit. Around right here is when I added my second position on USD CAD. So this first position moved the stop to break even. The second position, I moved the stop loss. It's more above this recent high, just in case, you know, price swings back up and stops, I don't know, comes back past this high. So I just moved this stop loss to break even. This one was above this high. This went further into profit. It came back up to this zone. As I saw it, I was like, this is another good resistance zone. So I sold again, added again. This is the third position that I showed you recently. So I moved both of these trades to stop loss at break even. So if price does go against me, these stop out at break even. I lose nothing. This third position stop loss is right above this zone, and it's starting to fall even more. So right now we're sitting in pretty good profit. So this is what my terminal looked like after I entered USD CAD. So for USD CHF, I added a fourth position to that trade, and I'll show you what it looked like and how it played out. So USD CHF, I saw this being a support zone. Price came down, touched it, bounced, came down, touched it again, bounced, came down, touched it again, bounced, bounced, bounced. It broke through, tested as resistance, spiked away, broke above, came down and tested again. So that is when I bought. And so this is what my terminal looked like after placing the USD CHF positions. So after the fourth position ended up getting stopped out on USD CHF, this is what it looked like. Now, although USD CHF wasn't working out, GBP USD, on the other hand, looked like this. Now, all in all, it was about a $200 winner on GBP USD because I just kept adding into profit as it kept going up. It was a $200 profit, but I ended up, you can really subtract like $40 because of the Dow that happened yesterday when I lost like 26 bucks on that, and then USD CHF stopping out overnight that I couldn't really manage in real time because I was asleep, so that kind of sucks. But GBP USD ended up paying for the losses and some, so I'm up about $160 at this moment. And this is what GBP USD ended up looking like. And so this morning, this is what my terminal of open trades looks like. You can see at the bottom, I still have those 3 USD CHF positions. Those are the first 3. And you can see Euro JPY is still in about $6 loss. And then we still got USD CAD, which is hanging on. It looks like she's going even lower, which is a good thing. And then to wrap it up, another USD CHF position ended up stopping out at break even. And I'll show you the history of what it looked like. And this is currently what USD CHF looks like from this morning. So USD CHF continues to fall. So what did I do? I just ended up closing one of the positions early for like a $14 loss. What I ended up doing is I had 2 positions open at this time because one of them stopped out at break even. The other one that I just showed you stopped at like a $20 loss. And so for the second position, I moved the stop loss from break even to about another $20 loss so that I can manage it dynamically. So then I ended up closing that second position at a $14 loss like I just showed you. And so I only have 1 position open on USD CHF. And I'm keeping it open because I think that it's a good support zone of where it's at right now. I think it could still bounce from here. And when it does, I'm just going to add into the winner. So you can see here, this is what my terminal looks like. You can see I have that USD CHF position still open, and then all the other USD CAD and Euro JPY trades. And to show you what I mean on USD CHF and why I'm still keeping it open, this is what it looks like. So at the bottom, you can see that there's still that gray zone that I see that still looks like support to me. So at this time, I still had 2 USD CHF positions still open. They like cancel each other out. One's at like a $6 winner, the other's at like a $4 loss. And so then the second position that I showed you, that one, for some reason, USD CHF just took a shit and it is falling. And so I had to quickly close the second position at like a $29 loss. And the reason I took a $29 loss is because I moved the stop loss to 10% of the account. So right now the account sits at like above $300, a little bit above that. So I just moved the stop loss to $30 to give it a little bit more room also for me to manage it dynamically. But I ended up closing basically at the stop loss. So I took like a full 1 R of a loss. The first position that I originally bought at is still open. I still have that one running, but instead what I did is I managed it to the daily time frame. So I gave it a lot of room in case if it does go against me even more. It's based off the daily. The daily time frame for me seems to be a lot more forgiving, a lot more lenient, which is why I place most of my trades on the daily time frame, because it just seems to be easier and I seem to be a little bit more right most of the time when I place my trades off the daily. I notice when I start placing trades on the lower time frames like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, those are when things get a little bit more chaotic and it's kind of hard to manage and it's kind of hard to think quicker. So I just stick to the daily most of the time, but if the trade looks really good, I'll place it on the 1 hour or the H4. So that basically wraps up day 5, 6, and 7. And this is what my terminal currently looks like right now. So you can see my account is about $311. So we've grown it a good amount, like $100+ maybe, which isn't bad. Right now, if I were to close everything, it would be at like $400. I'm just gonna keep everything open. USD CAD is looking good, which I'll show you what she looks like right now. USD CHF is up in the air, and same for Euro JPY. I might end up closing both of those early, but right now, currently, we are up about $100 something. I appreciate you for watching. Thank you.